What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to video number 2 of the IBB Top 3
Trilogy.
Ooh, and I'm here with the one and only Aimee Godek, and she's with Our Bond International. I love saying that. I feel like I think of like James Bond, something like Our Bond International. She's like a secret agent or something like that, secret agent of nutrition and wellness. But anyway, so we went over her first key to success. If you didn't watch it, make sure you go check that out. But we're going to roll into number 2. I'm pumped. What is it?
Yeah, number 2 is that your journey doesn't define your worth. So
Your journey doesn't define your worth.
So we talked,
Okay.
The last tip was no backdoor, right? Not leaving. So this one is when the journey gets tough. I think sometimes you see success, you know what it's going to be, but your journey, A, either knocks you on your face, or B, takes forever, and you're like, oh, this isn't success. I'm not worthy of.
And forever.
That
so like
vision.
define forever. Like in our world, like usually if you haven't made it 5 years, you're not like you're still up in the air as to like will you. It doesn't matter what you've done until that point.
Right.
And then like if you've done it 10 years, then it's like, okay, you're pretty much you're okay moving forward. Right. So I guess like forever in your world, like what does that look like for most people?
Well, I heard a statistic in my industry that if you stay in your business and working your business for 10 years, you're 90% likely to be at the top of the company. That I've been in it for 9-ish years, and we just got to the top level of the company. So to me, I feel like that stat is pretty accurate.
You're like royalty.
All
right.
In that.
Cool.
But how many people are willing to stick with something for 10 years that could, for 5, feel like it's failing?
Feel off. I feel like it feels like it's forever, but it's, I never want to go back.
Right.
Ever to the beginning stages. Never.
No, they're not always
Never.
pretty. You have to learn, right? You have to
I'll live
fail.
off the land. I will not.
Right. Right.
I'll do anything but go back. But
Yeah.
all right, so I'm sorry, I kind of derailed the conversation there. You have to stop me if I'm like getting too squirrel-schliker.
All right.
But,
I can follow you.
So cool. So journey doesn't define worth. So it's feeling like it's taking forever. You're getting beat up. You're getting your introduction to the world of business, and then.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes, and this could be more of like a female perspective from things, but I think sometimes when you get stuck in those ruts or those years or multiple years where you feel like you're not successful at what you're doing, all of a sudden you don't feel like worthy of it. Like maybe I'm not cut out to be that leader that I planned on being in this business, or maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Like how often does that thought kind of come along? And I think it's just so important to remember that the journey is part of the process. Like if you do any kind of reading and learning about being a leader, being successful, anybody will tell you you have to fail. You have to fail in order to make mistakes and learn and change and grow. So I think that's part of not quitting, is just understanding that the journey to get where you want to be is going to could be tough, could be easy, could be simple, but eventually there's going to be something hard, right? Eventually.
Yeah.
And I think just to be able to lead other people in this kind of thing, in a business, in an industry, having employees, having an organization, it's just so important to understand that just because your journey doesn't look like you thought it was going to, I'm going to get this building and start this business, and in 5 years we're going to make this much money. I mean, if that's not what your journey looks like, that doesn't mean you stop.
Right. So selfishly, now that I have a 6-month-old daughter, I would love to get a little more feedback, talking about just female perspective, like from you, again, speaking of your journey, and that's just, obviously, I don't know how the female perspective, I'm still trying to figure out how to not get in trouble at home with Erica. Love you, Erica. But, I've never had to walk in the room and be like, what are they thinking of me because I'm a female? Or am I being, did what I say come off the wrong way because it's interpreted? I just never had to I'm very lucky that's never had to be part of my life.
Sure.
But to, again, try to empower Julia moving forward, like what are some things that you would say from the female's perspective of leadership and running a business? And I feel like, too, our generation, I feel, has done a great job of like breaking the mold of like, you know, you are a woman, you stay home. Right. I go kill stuff and bring back to eat. You know, so like, you're doing a lot. You have a family. You're and then obviously doing great in the business world too. So like, I don't know. I feel like there's still a lot more pressure on the mom, on the wife, just on the woman in general. But and this is something I tell Erica too, is I feel like it's more self-inflicted, like it's that mom guilt or that I don't know, like there's one of my friends, she was talking about like it was just like I don't know if it's like phantom stress or phantom, like just there's just a never-ending. You can't see it, but you're always worrying about everything and trying to make sure everybody's okay. So, but that can really drain you. Absolutely. And then too, when you're like waking up every morning saying like protein powder, like I'm worthy of this vision, you know, like, how do you do it?
Yeah, I think one way that I do it, and I think we're going to talk about this a little bit in number 3, but
sneak peek. Oh man,
a little bit of foreshadowing here. One thing is, I think, constantly learning. That has been my biggest thing, is like keeping my mind in the right place to be a leader. Because honestly, when you're feeling drained like that, people can tell whether you are showing it or you're trying to hide it, or your energy is not the same. And so I think as leader, I've had to really focus on keeping my mind in the right place, learning and being willing to grow, and just knowing that you can't be 100% in everything at all the time. And you're right. You're totally right that women in general, and this is a generality, but feel like there's so much weight in all the different places.
Yeah.
And that's
you have
why
to be perfect everywhere.
Yes.
Like as a guy, very cliche, is like I can suck at a lot of things. I just gotta be good at like one thing because I can't multitask. I'm a guy,
right.
You know. So So.
But I think so much of it is just understanding that everybody is worthy of being successful. It's just finding
Can you repeat that?
Anybody and everybody is worthy of being successful.
Everybody. Cool.
You just have to be willing to keep working.
Yeah.
Keep working.
Is there kind of some habits or routines that you have to ensure that you're continuing to learn and continuing to move forward?
So I'm, again, a special ed teacher by trade. So routine is like my place. And so I've learned very quickly that if I'm off of a routine, I'm not my best self. So that's me. I know lots of people can fly by the seat of their pants. But for me, I've learned that every morning I start my morning with gratitude. I do a gratitude journal. I start with reading something that's beneficial, learning, growing. Keeping nutrition on point is huge, because if your body is not fueled the best it can be, you're not working the best you can be. Yeah. So those are always like my top few morning things. And then I make sure that I, because I'm a mom and I can work this from home, that also can like interfere with each other, like being home with my kids, working my business, trying to work with my team. So I've tried really hard to create a schedule for myself that gives me like office hours. So the cool thing about my industry is I have so much flexibility, because I get to choose when those office hours are. It's not a traditional 9 to 5. Some days I might, have a sitter and work for a couple hours while we have our awesome sitter, or some days I'm working after the kids go to bed, or but I've learned to kind of separate the two. And so when I'm with my kids, I'm present with my kids. When I'm with my team and my organization, I'm present with them. And then when when I'm home with my husband, like I just have learned to compartmentalize, but I always stick to the morning routine, getting up early. Yeah. The top income earner in our company always said that if I wanted to be at the top level of the company and serving the most people, I had to get up early. And I was like, okay. Yeah. So ever since then.
What time do you get up?
Not super early now, but while I was teaching, I was up before 5 every morning. Nice. Now that I have a little more flexibility, I try to be up at 5:30.
Okay, 5:30. Yeah, so like for me, the game changed when I started getting up at like 4 a.m. Now, obviously, for a while it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 a.m. Rocking the world. Got a little harder every day. By Friday, I was like cooked. Couldn't, I just like, so I'd, wake up at 8, whatever. But that's one thing I learned is, the world kind of starts operating around 8 a.m., 9 a.m. By 9 a.m., forget it. You can't make
the
any
hours
progress.
just disappear.
It's gone.
Yeah.
But that's where the saying, the early bird gets the worm.
Absolutely.
And that's what I realized is the early bird gets everything because there's literally no one awake to stop it,
Right.
So no one's awake to stop you. I don't know, I just feel like when you get up early, do you feel like you're kind of like cheating the system? You're kind of like, I'm hacking,
Yes.
the world kind of thing.
Yeah, and once you have kids, I feel like there's distinct, as soon as the kids are up, game's off,
forget it.
Done.
Yeah.
So I learned as soon as, especially when I had my first daughter, is just, you have to be up before them and you have to be ahead of the game, because if not, there's still days, like you said, by the end of the week, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, it's Friday. I'm going to get up when they get up. And I'm like, I'm 10 steps behind. So I think it was that was one sacrifice I was willing to do, even when I was teaching full time, was get up early enough to get in those couple things, even if it wasn't my whole day of work with Arbonne, even if it was just the gratitude and reading and getting ready and setting my day.
It was Aimee time.
Yes.
Aimee time for Aimee. Yeah.
And just being intentional, being ahead of the day, living running the day instead of the day running you. I feel like getting up at a normal time.
Yeah.
The day's just running you. You're late out the door, you're late getting ready.
Yeah.
And even when I wake up early, I end up late. But that's kids. But I think that just being up early has been a huge. And I know when I'm not doing it, you can see it in my progress across all boards.
Well, it's just you're chasing yourself. It's like there was that ideal self that you would have been at 5:30 a.m.
Right.
Then there's your real self that you are now getting up at 6:03 a.m. And you're just it's not that big of a difference. Then you're just all day you're chasing that 33 minutes or whatever. So, no, that's cool. I love it. So, that the gratitude journal. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that kind of, for me, when I'm journaling, I feel like it just helps me realize, oh, this is why I'm stressed. Or oh, this is why I'm feeling this. There's so many conversations in my head. Yeah. And then if I'm journaling, it's oh yeah, this is why
one thing
my brain's
I
going crazy.
About gratitude in general is instead of getting up and saying, I have to, getting up and saying, I get to.
I get to.
Totally changes your whole day. So if you're getting up and you're saying, I get to go to work today. I get to get my kids out of bed. I get that and it sounds so corny. If you haven't done gratitude, you are going to be like, who is this crazy lady? I get it, because that was me. I totally thought that. But now that I do it, it really changes the entire day.
It's a powerful shift.
Yes.
It's a powerful shift. And especially to some of the shift. We were talking before about 10 years in the business. Yeah. We're not stressed about what we used to be stressed about, but we're still it's now everybody knows you're reliable. Everybody knows you're trustworthy. Everybody knows that you're legit, and you're just spending every waking moment being okay, I can't ruin my reputation. I mean, I can, Warren Buffett, one of my favorite quotes from him that he sends out to all his business is and I can't remember the exact words, but he's it just ultimately is it's okay to lose money. Yeah. But if you lose a shred of reputation, then you are, so I feel that's the main struggle too. Mm-hmm. Of trying to stay ahead is you're keeping up with the business coming in instead of before we were just you're still getting drop kicked, but it's just different.
Absolutely, and that's where I come from with the journey. In every business, there's going to be downs. Any business, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose people in your organization. You're going to lose that's going to happen. But I think in those moments, that's when you have the choice to keep going or to be in the fetal position crying and letting people kick you that. Those are the two.
Make it stop.
Right? Because haven't you felt like that at some point? Please just make it stop. And that is where your journey. You have to understand it's a journey. And as much as there's downs, if you keep working, I always tell people in my organization, you cannot stop when you're down. If you are at the top of the world and your business is successful and this isn't for you and you want to walk away, that is a great time to make that decision for you and your family. But you cannot stop when you're down because the up is coming.
Yeah. But you have to keep.
Yeah.
Action is the best medicine. Just keep fighting through
sure.
it. So, very cool. Very cool. I'm all pumped now. I'm pumped. So, anything else to add to this key to success?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for our second key to success. And make sure, if you didn't see the first one, go back and watch it. And we're going to come up with the finale here next. So until next time.
Stay burn proof.